back here on the morning show, and a big thanks to Middle Park Medical Center, one of our key sponsors. Can't do the show without them, so definitely appreciative for all they offer. And our first guest of the day is going to be our Grand County Commissioner, Merrit Linke. And good morning, Merrit. What's going on?
Good morning. It's a great morning.
There's
lots going on.
Rise and shine,
Get some
snow this past week.
That's
Things
right.
are looking white out there. It's springtime, so I love this time of year.
I think the snowpack is looking great. Yes, we've had some warm days and some of it's melting, but I think the numbers still show that we've got a pretty good snowpack.
Is it? Yeah, I was just out there last weekend, and I mean, it's holding up beautifully, I think.
Yeah.
We all have these panicked memories from 4 years ago or whatever it was when we just stopped, and it's like, I think we're in much better shape right now than we were at that time.
Right. And even last year, it was certainly dry at this time of year, but then we certainly made up for it later and we had a great summer.
It's been the trend lately, it seems like, those late storms. So I think Turner's over there waving the sign saying we're at 90% snowpack, which is pretty darn good.
That's pretty good.
All the water people, I think, are pretty happy about that too, hopefully.
That's right.
84.
94, okay.
Oh, okay.
94. We're
Numbers
corrected.
keep coming in. Yeah, we just went up with this snow we're getting. So.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Grand County Commissioner.
That's right. District 2.
District 2. So how many districts we got in Grand
There's
County?
three districts, kind of east, middle, and west, and District 2 is the middle.
East is going to be our resort, ski resort.
East is Winter Park, Fraser, pretty much the ski area, this end of the valley. And it's divvied up by population. So it's a smaller geographical area, but pretty much equivalent to the population of the other two districts.
And you're a long-term local, is that right?
I'm a long-term local, yes. My great-grandfather homesteaded here in 1883, and we've kept the ranch intact.
And you're on the ranch.
I'm on the ranch, and we still participate in the ranch activities.
130 some years later, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's actually pretty unusual for those ranches to stay in business that long in Colorado.
All right. Turner's waving the homestead flag over there just to talk about he homesteaded, meaning they were giving away land. And
That's right. In those days, when the Homestead Act came through, there's a long story about my great-grandfather. He came west. He was a carpenter by trade. He came west for the lure of the gold to be found in the mountains and actually hit a little bit of a strike down by Silverton. And there's some different stories, which none of them can really be confirmed, but the one story is that one partner got killed in a mine cave-in, the other partner got killed in an avalanche. Great-grandpa says, hey, this isn't looking good. I'm going to do something different. So he had a little money because they were hitting a little bit of silver, and he came back to Denver and met up with my great-grandmother, and they decided, heck, we're going to go start a ranch in Grand County. So they outfitted a wagon, bought some cattle.
Right, because you're not just taking the train or hopping over the pass that easily.
And actually, the story is they came over Berthoud Pass, which was the newest and greatest road at that time, rather than Rollins Pass, which was the commonly known route.
Wow.
The story is they came over Berthoud Pass.
And Rollins Pass's train was coming up.
There was not a train at that time.
Oh, this is pre-train.
This is pre-train, but there was
that's
still a road.
Corona Road takes you up to the Corona Lake, and that's Rollins Pass. So.
Yes, the Boulder Wagon Road. So they came over they hired some cowboys to bring some cattle and started a ranch, basically on the same spot. It's changed somewhat throughout the years, but where we are still today.
And you're there. So have you been there the whole time, or did you leave town for a little while?
I left in college in the early 80s and spent most of my summers away from here, and I became a teacher in eastern Colorado and Wyoming and a couple different spots. I came back here to be a teacher, then I got out of the teaching business, and I did that for 12 years. And I got back into the ranching business, and I chose to come back here because I wanted to raise my kids here.
And
it's a good spot to raise kids. And my oldest, who's now 24, she had spent her first year in school in kindergarten in Wyoming, but we thought the rest of them we wanted them to go to school here.
Okay, so that brought you back, and then did you watch a political movie and just get inspired to go be a Grand County Commissioner, or what happened?
That's a good story, but that's not really the right one.
Rocky IV or something that got you all wound up about America?
I truly hadn't been that involved in politics, really, but I knew that if I wanted to make any kind of a difference, rather than being the chronic bitcher or complainer, I didn't want to be that, and I found myself doing that a little more than I was comfortable with, and I didn't think that was a good example except for my kids. So I decided that if I was going to make a difference, then do something about it rather than just complain about it. So that's when I got into politics.
Now, was it at the commissioner level, or was it
at the commissioner? At the commissioner level, I ran for commissioner and I got elected 4 years ago, and at the end, this is 3 years into my first term. So that's really how it got started, kind of a Jeffersonian citizen politician kind of a thing.
And now you said earlier we have 3 county commissioners. So what got you into, or like what do you guys do? What is the purpose of a commissioner?
Well,
as opposed to, I guess, what are the levels? We got the mayor of each town, and
right.
Commissioners would be the...
A simple way to look at it is to think of it as commissioners are the governor of a county, except for instead of one, there's three. Because they're in charge of all the same things that the governor would be in charge of: fiscal accountability, keeping track of the money, spending, land use, ordinances, all those things, those myriad of things that you can think about is what commissioners do. They make
Now,
policies.
we have 3 districts, so your duties do overlap a lot, though.
The duties overlap, and there's a lot of other meetings and things that we go to that we kind of divvy up the responsibilities and actually change them around somewhat too. The elections are at large. Even though you live in each district, really each commissioner represents the whole county, even though you live in a particular district.
Okay.
And that's really just a qualification for election, not necessarily once you're elected, you only take care of that district, because you don't really do that. You still take care of the whole county, because you don't really make any decisions as an individual. You really only have any powers as a board.
So we have 3 commissioners, and you're all elected individually. You don't come in as a package deal on the same party ticket.
Or all individually. Two will be up for election this time, and one will be an alternate every 2 years.
Okay, so how does that work? Having 3 different personalities, sometimes different parties. Do you ever get a new person that comes in and rocks the boat, or what's?
Well, I think that probably happens sometimes.
You've all got a common goal on making the county thrive.
And I think that's exactly it. I think everybody has a goal of making Grand County better and making Grand County thrive. How we go about it, and I think you'd probably get 14,000 different answers of what's the best way to do that. But I think you take all the information that you receive, which you get a lot, and try to make the best information based on all the information possible and go forward from there. Accepting that the other 2 commissioners may not agree with you in terms of how you do that, or even philosophically. You still have to figure out a way to work with them. Sometimes involves compromise.
Do you guys ever have to sit down and say, we don't all agree, but we're going to take a majority, and 2 out of the 3 go one way and 1 goes the other? So
that
you just say
actually does happen.
It does, okay.
And truly that does happen occasionally. And the key thing that when that happens, it's still a board decision. And even the dissenting vote, which I've been on that end of sometimes, you still, when it's done, it's done. This was a board decision.
This is our decision. It's final. We're moving on.
We're done. We go forward from that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Republican or Democrat?
I am Republican, have been a lifelong Republican. My first election I ever voted in was back in the 80s when Ronald Reagan first ran, so lifetime Republican.
Do you think Bloomberg should run for president?
No.
Okay. Sounds like we're safe on that. Turner wants me to say Trump or no Trump?
Oh, Trump is an interesting character, and I think that he's saying a lot of things that probably a lot of us are thinking. I'm not exactly sure how that his demeanor is going to enable us to get things done to accomplish anything.
Throwing mud at each other isn't always the best way to solve a problem.
It doesn't seem like that's going to get some problems solved.
All right, well, we're going to need to take a quick break. Once again, we're hanging out here with Grand County Commissioner Merrit Linke, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the budgets. But once again, big thanks to Middle Park Medical Center, keeping life grand here in Grand County. So we're going to be back in a moment.